In this video, I'm going to show you how you can personalize your outreach or your prospecting at scale as a B2B sales rep. But first, let's dive into one of the core problems or challenges we have as sales professionals in 2023. And that's that most buyers actually have completed 60% of the sales process before they ever want to engage with a sales professional from a vendor. And this is actually called established demand, or that's what the Challenger sale calls it. And Gartner actually has the same research. They say that buyers don't really value interacting with a sales rep till much later on in the sales process, unless they can bring insightful information, industry information, very much authority and consultative nature to the conversation to help them make sense of information so that they can make the buying process and the buying experience better, and so they can actually make the right decision and the right investment for their organization. Because there's a lot of information out there and everybody has access to the internet. So the challenge that we have is then, how do we get in front of these buyers sooner than later in the sales process? In fact, what we'd like to do is get in front of these buyers before they even recognize that they have a problem. That would be the perfect case scenario, and that's what all of you should be striving toward. Instead of striving to just find buyers that are looking to buy right now, which is what most people kind of became accustomed to if you started in sales in the last 1 to 5 years, it was very much find a buyer, find somebody who's ready to buy right now, and then just churn and burn. And pretty much people were just selling demos and then closing deals. Well, guess what? Those days are gone. Full cycle sales is back, bigger than ever, and you need to learn how to prospect. And one of the challenges that I find that most sales reps have when they come into Elevate Sales Academy is that they don't know how to personalize their outreach at scale. And what I mean by that is most sales reps have some ability to craft a generally good personalized email or cold call to one of their target prospects. But beyond that first or second outreach attempt, they really struggle. And the reason for that is because they really don't know what other information they have to use, what other type of content they have. And if you work for an organization that doesn't just pump you full of marketing content, and even if they do, you might not really know how to use that information. And if you have nothing, then you even feel like you're even more challenged. Sometimes what I find is that the reps that have tons of marketing information and marketing content are just spraying and praying all this marketing jargon out to their prospects. And it's not actually how your buyers actually even talk. And you actually sound like a marketing robot rather than a human being that's actually trying to help someone solve a problem and add value. And that's what we should be trying to do, is help a customer through a change to help them realize a desired outcome, not hit them with a bunch of marketing jargon. That's not your goal. On the other side of the spectrum, of course, as I just mentioned, you have reps that don't have any content. They have very little marketing and very little content that's provided to them. And so they're kind of left to fend for themselves. Hopefully you have some use cases, and a use case, by the way, is an actual problem that you solve, right? So if there's a specific problem in the industry and your software solves that, that's a use case, right? And there can be many different types of use cases, some that are very similar, some that are different. One product can solve for multiple use cases. Just like maybe sometimes one medicine can have lots of different indications, meaning it can treat a lot of different diseases. Tylenol, for example, doesn't just treat headaches. It also treats, pain in your joints and things like that. So the point is that there's use cases. You also have, hopefully, case studies. And even if your company doesn't well document or document case studies well, you still have case studies where deals that your organization's won. And it doesn't have to be you. It can just be anybody in your organization. And that's on you to go find those case studies if you don't have anywhere a repository where they're housed. And then in addition to that, there's obviously competitors of yours who have gone out and sold deals to customers and solved specific problems. And if you go to their website, they have case studies and they have use cases and stories they're referencing. And then even furthermore, there's Google, there's other industry research sites you can go to find out what use cases are being solved by whatever your product or service solves for. So with all that in mind, when we put that frame of reference, there's a lot of content that you can generate to send really compelling, personalized emails to show the customer that you understand their world, you understand their problems, and you actually work with their peers that have similar problems. And that is highly valuable because that's what's called an authority bias. And when you show the customer that you work with the people that are just like them, chances are they're gonna wanna talk to you about what the peers in their industry are actually doing to solve the similar problems that they have. So let's look at this process flow. So as I mentioned, let's say that you are selling cybersecurity software, and let's say you have a large territory, not just one large enterprise customer. And let's say within your patch or territory, you have a lot of different industries. But we're gonna first build out what I call a swipe file of content that we can grab and pull from for our messaging, because we want to be able to repeat this type of work over and over again and not have to repeat our research. So I want something I can grab and go and grab information, grab stories to put into my email messaging, to put into my cold call scripts, so that I'm much more armed to move faster. And then I can just do a little additional personalization for each specific company. So the first thing I want to know is, let's say financial services. What are the case studies that we have from our company, or use cases, excuse me, that we have in the financial service industry in my company? Then the next thing I would look at is, what case studies do we have in the financial services industry? So again, a use case in the financial services industry would be a specific problem you've solved for a financial services company. A case study obviously is going to be a customer testimonial or a specific problem that you solved for a very specific customer. Whether or not you can share the name is besides the point. You solved a problem for a financial services customer, therefore you have a case study. Then you also have competitors that have solved for similar problems, and they have case studies and stories to back up problems they've solved. And then obviously, as I also mentioned, you have industry leading researchers as well as Google, and you have ChatGPT to search other problems and use cases for the financial service industry that cybersecurity software like yours can solve. Now, from there, you have departments within a financial services company that may benefit from your cybersecurity software. So obviously, information security department is going to be a prime one. Then maybe you've got risk management. Maybe you've got a compliance office. Maybe you have a legal office that needs help. There's a lot of different areas. Maybe there's application teams that could benefit from your cybersecurity software because they want to protect their applications. This is why you want to then figure out, okay, for each department, you go back. What are all the use cases we have within our organization for each of those departments? Write down those stories. What are all the case studies we have for all the different departments in a financial services company that we solve? What are our competitors' case studies look like? Which divisions within the organization, departments, are they solving problems for? And then also, what is the industry researchers in Google and ChatGPT? What information can I grab there about different problems that I can use in my messaging that I can put in my swipe file? From there, I then look at personas, and I do the same process over again, right? Personas are going to be the job titles, the people within the organization, within your ideal customer profile that you're going to be selling to. So you're going to have executive level people, you're going to have directors, you're going to have line level managers, and then individual contributors, right? Who are those people, and what case studies, what use cases, what competitor case studies do we have, and what industry leading research information do we have? When we take all that information, we then write 3 to 5 stories, and I would block these down and chunk them down by industry, department, and persona for each as you go down the line. So industry, department, persona, and you're going to take all these stories and you're going to chunk them down and create 3 to 5 stories in each category. Then you're going to match your accounts that are in the financial services sector to these stories. Then you're going to match the personas to the personas that you've got those stories for. Then you're going to take those stories and you're going to write a script for cold calling, and then you're going to write a bunch of different emails over the course of 8 to 12 weeks with phone calls sprinkled in, so you get anywhere from 8 to 16 attempted contacts over the course of 2 months. And now you've got anywhere from 5, 10, 15 different stories you can tell, which you can use in your messaging, maybe even more, because usually you just need a little snippet to get a prospect's attention and their interest to want to have a conversation with you, as long as the rest of your email follows a specific framework that I teach. But this is how you prospect at scale, and you build that into your sequence, and then you book more meetings. Hopefully this makes sense for you, but if you're looking to produce more personalized outreach at scale, I would strongly encourage you to build a swipe file, and again, follow the process: industry, department, personas, use cases, case studies, competitor case studies, and then the industry leading researchers for your space. Lots of information to be had. Think of how much content you would have at your fingertips if you house it in one document, and then you can grab and go, and you can just grab a little bit of additional information from the company's website, on LinkedIn, or any additional research you do, and you'll be able to prospect so much faster and take the thinking out of the equation so you can take much faster action. So I hope this helped you out. Happy prospecting, and I'll see you on the next video.